Good morning, everybody. I hope this video finds you well. I've been asked a number of questions by some patron contributors, and I want to address some of the issues right here. A lot of times people ask me to ask domain questions specifically regarding their situation, and I do that on occasion. But I think one thing we have to understand is our uniqueness and how things actually are. So I'm going to review a couple of things first of all. First item that we're going to review is the Earth, the universe, the reality that surrounds you is not what you think it is. I've said this a zillion times, I'm going to say it again. We think we're sharing a world, a planet, a Earth, with brothers and sisters and classmates and office workers. We're not. We think we're on a planet called Earth that sits in a universe. We're not. It's a completely different construction than what we've been taught. We think that that's the universe and there's galaxies and solar systems, and yes, that is what we observe. And our conclusions as to what they are generally very close, but it's not exact. That is how we perceive things from our point of view. It is not the totality of our reality. It's not. So all this other stuff, dogs and cats and people and friends and loved ones and spouse and life and taxes and all this stuff that you see is just constructs. Our reality is one where people can walk into it as if they appear out of the blue and walk out of it as if they disappear. Why is that? You want to see some videos?
To gange inden vi skal spille den næste kamp, det kan godt irritere mig lidt, at vi måske må nøjes med en enkelt. Nu ser vi på dem i løbet af aften, skal de ikke træne, og så ser vi hvor meget de kan i morgen. Og eventuelt så vil vi lægge en træning ind lørdag formiddag.
Nej, hvad sker der?
敢只做过将，抖落一身红尘土，那大阵未央。塞外一无葫芦，有声荡气回肠。中下城府的将军，剑刺被六合地豪气飞扬。千年深藏，御剑出关马，和人以那一气风发。速速小镇空流马一参加，无地灵是地灵驻扎，手阴阳断大，跨越山河的变迁，一颗巨浮云平定天下。沧海桑田皆是过往云烟，黄土封住了大势，轻轻掩盖了定义上青天。滔突万流千秋，得传幸甚至在，万将一朝出世，尽显英雄气概。
了千秋，今人尽为天下气藏，在幽冥中流浪，却是无双。苦历万载，又再带领赴沙场，与子同堂，征战八方。
话说不必小心，遥望远方，心不在焉。私家人念旧香，却在月下无言。弓箭是回文，雕过怒是缘。奈何光一逝，岁月在拨弄心弦。细品潇洒自如，策马怒发冲冠。敌不过是锦衣，闭眼睁眼过去千年。将军横眉倒数，本自为一副担 眼里，思绪万千，灵情攻炸出了一道闪电。沧海桑田，皆是过往云烟。黄土封住了大势，轻轻掩盖了定向青天。陶土挽留千秋，得寸心神志在。万家一朝出世，尽显英雄气概。
等了千秋，尽人尽为天下气脏。在幽冥中流浪，却是无双。后历万载，又在带领风
Is this
沙。
a technology?
与子同袍。
Like a teleporter? Or is it some function of what our reality is that you can walk in and walk out, like on a stage? We're watching a play on a stage, and people walk in from the left and walk in from the right, and then they leave. The reality is not what we think it is. So that's point number one. Point number two is I've provided some general guidance as to what the reality is based upon my experience and experiences. And in short, it's far more comprehensive than anything I can lay out right now. But I've provided for you an outline of understanding. We live in a reality that is in reality, in actuality, a series of probabilities. And when you, as soul, enter into this particular and when you enter into this reality, you're actually you're entering into a vessel, like a car. We call it a human body, but it's like a car. And the car is placed on a road, and you are placed on something called a world line template, which is the highest probability of life events for the world that you inhabit. So you pick out this world line template, and that's the life you're going to live. Oh, you can move on it left and right, but no matter what you do, things are going to pretty much be pre-fated. I was fated to join Majestic. Now, I've tried in my life to change my future. I've talked about ESP and stuff. It's not so much as being psychic as so much as it is to be sensitive, and sometimes you can peer events in the future that lie ahead of you on your world line template. And in one instance, I moved into a new office, and as I was rearranging my furniture, as I put the cabinets there, put the credenza here, do this over here, I had this massive image, a projection of me sitting at my desk, holding the phone in my hand, and my hand over my head like this, listening to some bad news about my employment. At that time, I said, no. I've had enough of these experiences where I saw a glimpse of the future, and I said, I don't want that to happen. So, what I did is I said, aha! So instead of moving the desk in the area where I saw myself with my hand here and listening to the phone, I moved it to another location. 6 months later, that event happened, and I was sitting at the desk in a different location. What's the lesson here? I could change the environment somewhat, but I couldn't change the vector that I was traveling upon. I couldn't change the road. I could change the dirt and the gravel at the side of the road. I could throw rocks at the signs, but I couldn't get off that damn road unless I did something radical. And the events at that time were such that I was not about to do this and do that, these radical things. Just like you're not going to completely burn your house down this very moment and go swimming in the local pool, because it's just out of character and it's off your wordline template, and it's highly improbable that that would happen. So, points 1 and 2. Number 1 is the world we know has no bearing on what we think we do. Number 2 is I've offered a way of navigating on this world and understanding it by the use of templates. What is a template? A template is just a topographical map of a path, of a vector that you travel amongst the world of probabilities. Number 3. There are many people who end up here at the website and on MM who are here for reasons. Many reasons. Partially it's because MM resonates, but it could be many other reasons. There are those of you who are associated with the benefactors, the domain, and that's my association through the American government, is through domain. But there are many such other organizations, and there are many such people. I will tell you here, and here's point number 3, it's highly unusual and very rare for you to be alone and independently walking into Metallic Man. You were introduced to this path on this template through things and events and associations you had prior to being born. Okay? Which means that you are on a fated life, and it's been pre-approved by your elders, your guides, your associations, your families, all in the discorporal environment. Right? So don't get too caught up on, well, I'm trying this and I'm trying that and I'm not getting any feedback. Shut the fuck up. Really. That's not the point. You just follow this path you're on. Now you can do deviations. That's what the affirmation campaigns are all about. And it may seem like you're not hitting anything. And I've described why you may feel like you're not hitting anything, right? I've described that there's dwells and there's periods of change and periods of no change. That's what happens. You're going to change your life. There's going to be a period where it seems like, if it's a big change in your life, there's going to be a long period before that happens where it seems like nothing's happening. And then suddenly, boom! Happens. So somebody says, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and nothing's happening, please ask the domain commander to ask what's going on, because I don't understand what's going on. I'm telling you right now. Jeez. Before big events happen, you're going to have this period where it seems like you're on a sea of nothing happening. That's the way it works. So if you're on this sea where it seems like nothing's happening, you're on the right track, bud. Somewhere on that horizon over there is something big. Just relax, enjoy the ride, do your affirmation campaigns, and you'll be fine. So that was point 3, okay? Which is basically you are part of something bigger that you have no awareness of right now. And when you're trying to change things to be in alignment with that, because after all, that's your desires, you're not really changing things. What you are doing is experiencing things that are associated with the change. You feel like you need a change. You're doing all the affirmations, you're taking these moves, but it seems like nothing's changing. That's okay, because you're on the proper path. Things are changing. That's point 3. So many of these points. You guys are probably tired of me going back and forth on this stuff. I want to dwell a little bit on point four. Point four is fiction. We are deluged on bullshit narratives, lies, political lies, government lies, oligarchy lies, rich people lies, Hollywood narratives, all kinds of stuff. Hearsay, people's opinions, blah, 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 blah. That's not reality, and don't make it your reality. And whatever you do when you're doing affirmation campaigns, don't pull things from movies and stories and stuff, although it's very tempting. You will generate a reality that's not exactly what you're looking for. Just don't do it. Okay? So when you go forth this stuff, use your own desires, forge your life through discipline, and follow the affirmation campaigns, do your prayers, and have a little faith in your own ability. Okay? Whether it's Jesus or angels or apostles or Muhammad or Buddha or whoever it is that you dealt with before you were born, because you did. Consciousness did not magically appear out of the blue. It formed over eons. You are now doing what you're supposed to be doing on a path that you're supposed to be on, and that's a good thing. Now, I want to talk a little bit about 5. Being and sitting within a complete box where it's all these thoughts and stuff thrown at us, we have a distorted sense of self, a distorted sense of reality. A lot of people are afraid of World War III. That's been ongoing now for a decade or so. Various hotspots have manifested. Right now it's a build-up for a war with China. My impressions is that's not going to happen, no matter how scary it seems like it's going to happen. Bases going up and circling China and all this other kind of stuff. I don't think that's really going to happen. There's going to be a couple of bitch slap events that's going to settle that issue and those issues down. Now, there's some bads that's going to happen. Every time I ask the domain commander, it's now medium bads on the low side. No big bads, though anything can change. My experience with domain tells me that they are not omniscient. They have great memories and they have great, amazing technology, but their abilities have limits. And right now, it seems that they're navigating the world towards a better reality, though there's going to be some discomfort in certain areas. I don't know what it is, but what I do know is things are not going to be reported. Like I've mentioned before about the SpaceX satellite, it's being destroyed by a freak geomagnetic storm or American submarine ramming into a mountain. These kinds of events are not reported as what they actually are. Just like these events that's going on right now with the train derailment, with all kinds of toxic chemicals billowing all over local communities inside the United States. There's other events going on right now that all fit into a much larger picture. Don't get too caught up on that. You don't need to. All you need to be aware of is there's other things going on behind the curtain. And that's what we have right now. So let's kind of summarize right now. We are in a world that is not what it looks like. There are people who know what it looks like and come and go at will. It's kind of a mess and kind of a clusterfuck right now, and we try to navigate the world as best we possibly can. We use templates. There's a tendency for us to be impatient, or because of based upon what we see, we may not fully understand the extent of it, whether it's on a personal nature or on a national nature, geopolitical nature. We don't know the full story. We don't need to know the full story. All we need to know is us. And with that, I just want to concentrate again, once again, the belief structure that I'm going to tell you right now. The world is going to survive. In 10 years, things are going to be really nice and rosy. There will be a brand new kind of world reality that's going to suit humans much better than the 20th and 19th century realities. There's going to be changes from the world of discomfort from what we have now to there. These will be in pockets. It will not be homogeneous. There will not be a major World War III, even though we're currently in World War III, and historians will write this period up as a World War III. But the fears and the horrors of World War I or World War II will not affect the majority of you. There's other things. And we'll find out about them, won't we? But since we're going through this period of time and there's a lot of fear generation, I'm telling you, don't be afraid. The world's going to be pretty good. And I'm trying to explain to you that it's going to be really good. And I want you to believe me in this, okay? So don't get too discouraged when it seems like nothing's changing. Things happen. If you put an affirmation campaign and you have goals and dreams way out there, well, it's going to take some time to get to them. If you are suddenly in this period where it seems like nothing's happening, something is happening. So don't freak out about it, okay? And you don't need for me to ask Domain about these kinds of things, okay? I know what the commander would say, all right? And I'm trying to tell you this, guys. Relax about this kind of stuff. You are your own captain of your ship. You have full autonomy. Even though you're on a fated template, you can change that in ways that'll make your life not so discordant and generally generate some good stuff. So when I say you have this affirmation campaigns and you can change your template and you can move off your template and you can do all this other kind of stuff, yes, you can. But certain key events you can't avoid. Okay. Now, I think you may not be totally confused with what I have to say. But you shouldn't be. You have to start following your heart. You have to be doing your prayers. You have to have some faith that things are working out as you plan. Do your affirmations, your prayers. Have some faith in your own abilities. I don't care if you've got mental illnesses or are crippled or whatever. You have abilities. See on the internet all the time about these blind cats. They can't see, but sure as hell, man, they're terrors because they use other senses. Don't dwell on your faults. Look at what you have, because all of you have the tools that you need to be a success in your life. I'm going to leave it at that. I want to say some pithy words of wisdom from the commander, but the impression I have that everything's fine. My message has been delivered to the people that need to read it, or listen to it. Watch it, okay? And so there you have it. Take care, people, and remember, be yourself, be the best you can be, even if it's just a little bit. Remember, your best is going to be up and down over the trials of days. Try to ride that wave. If you're sick, you can't do anything. If you got a headache, you can't do anything. But there are times when you can do a lot of stuff. Be the best you can be all the time. Calm your passions, calm your anger, calm your emotions. You'll be fine, because I believe in you.